Welcome back and welcome to episode 2 of the IronMan prep series. Now, if it's not clear already, the IronMan is no joke, okay? I am not naive to the fact that this is going to be, without doubt, the most difficult thing that I've probably ever done. Now, when it comes to this, I am no expert in this field, okay? My expertise is body transformations. It's trying to get people in shape the best way possible from all beginner, intermediate, advanced. It's a little bit of fitness, all of that sort of stuff, but mixing very, very top end endurance with strength training is definitely not my field. So we needed an expert and we needed some expert help. So let's talk about the training plan. So we went long and far, searched high and wide to find Mr. Fergus Crawley. Now, he has a business called Omnia Performance, and it tends to be, just from my outlook here, all things hybrid athlete, okay? In terms of, I can't exactly imagine the everyday gym goer signing up to Fergus's plan straight away, but someone like me who is perhaps taken on a different challenge and who is out of the depth, to be quite honest, in terms of that. Obviously, I can hold my own to a certain extent, and for the average general preparedness and everyday person, I'm probably classed as very fit, but actually having a plan and structure and knowing how to do this without burning out being the key point is where Fergus comes in. So I'm going to talk you through what he gave me this week, because this week, talk about training, talk about nutrition, and all the other stuff outside of it. But essentially, this week was simple. Start off with a test week and start finding out what our baselines are. So the structure of the week was to find where we were at in terms of my lower body capacity, my upper body capacity, my almost speed in terms of running, my low intensity steady state running, and my swimming. So there's been a little hiccup on the road because on test week 1, because of a run that I did last week, unfortunately, I've picked up some sort of foot injury. But generally, let's just go into it anyway. Lower body capacity 1, I've pretty much tested my deadlift, I've tested my squat, and then done a few accessory movements, which I think was half to give me a workout and was half to just see what my muscular endurance was rather than just my absolute strength. Upper body capacity, which I did from Fergus's programming, was exactly the same. So we did bench press for 3 moderate to heavy singles, where it's not really a 1 RM, but you can consistently do it for singles. Then we tested out my max pull-up overhand, max pull-up underhand is in 2 45-second AMRAPs. We then went into trying to find out what was stronger, my pushing endurance or my pulling endurance. So that was a 1 RM strict press at an RPE of 8. Then it was into 2 max effort push press sets. And then straight after that, going into 70 kilo overhand barbell rows and underhand barbell rows. So I'm guessing the gist of that is just trying to find out in a ratio of from pushing movements like chest, like barbell bench, and then pulling movements like barbell rows, trying to see what the ratio is of where we're stronger, and the same thing in terms of the strict press and the vertical pulling in terms of the chin-ups and the pull-ups. Okay, the basics. That wasn't actually out of my comfort zone. That was kind of what I'm used to. And it was quite a nice session. So yeah, week 1 consisted of that lower body capacity and that upper body capacity, and then the running sessions. So the running sessions, I actually haven't done the second one yet as we're filming this video, but essentially session number 1 was coming out, doing a 5 to 10 minute easy warm up, and then basically, without looking at my watch to find out a basic level of heart rate or an intense level of heart rate, a 30-minute test for just a 30-minute run as hard as I possibly can, record the distance and record my heart rate from wearing a chest strap and wearing a heart rate monitor. This is obviously going to give and create a bit of a baseline, I assume, for Fergus to go away and start programming X, Y, and Z. And then the second run session of the week is a low intensity steady state session, a list session. I'm so used to saying list, that sounded so weird actually, just rattling it out there. But a 45-minute run where I actually do watch my heart rate and try and stay between 145 and 155 and and don't go any quicker, even though all I want to do is go quicker. And that is my problem. And this is one thing, and one of the main things that I feel like I'm going to have to do when it comes to this Ironman prep training is not training too high heart rate thresholds, which I want to because of my background of like CrossFit and intense intervals and bodybuilding and all of that stuff. Is I actually need to work very much and stick to quite a lot of that zone 2 training. And the last session, which we're probably going to try and do today, is a swim-based session, which is essentially a 400-meter swim test and a 200-meter swim test with some warm-up intervals and easy intervals in between. But that was pretty much test week. Now, how is my week generally going to look? The basis of my week in terms of training, I think so far, just as a general basis, and what I have time based on, is going to consist of, so Monday is going to be pretty much a lower body strength day, and in the evening or vice versa will be a bike training session of some sort. Tuesday will be my first swim day of the week, my first swim session, but also there will be an upper body day involved in that. Wednesday is going to consist of probably a bike and a run, so like a double endurance day. Okay, that could be split up, that could be paired, I'm not actually quite sure. Obviously, I'm not doing the planning, but this is just based off my week schedule of where I am in terms of like where I'm located in the gym, what I actually have time for in my week. This is how I've broken it down. Thursday is probably going to be a rest day, some sort of active recovery day, maybe just do some core, some mobility, stuff like that. Friday will be lower body session 2 and also a swim day. Okay, so it's a double training day again. And then Saturday, the final day of the week training for me, will be probably a run day, probably a longer run, because Saturday I have a lot more time to give for that, and an upper body session 2. So that's going to be comprised of 4 training strength sessions, 2 swim sessions, 2 run sessions, and then 1 to 2 on the bike, which I have 2 in here if we do that double Wednesday. So that's pretty much how my week, and Sunday's a rest. Sunday, God's day, the day of rest. That is pretty much how I'm going to break it down in terms of what I can go to Fergus with and give him as my schedule right now. And I just assume that from that, the time domains will just go higher and higher and higher. I can see a few 5 a.m. starts to make sure that them long bike sessions get in on a Wednesday morning and a Monday morning. But that is essentially how I'm trying to break my week up, while trying, because my personal aim is to keep as much and maintain as much muscle as possible while doing this. I'm going to weigh myself in the next video because I think we're going to do a full day of eating and training for the full day, and we're going to show you what exactly we get up to with that. But yeah, nutrition. Right now, calories are pretty much set at 3,600 to 700 calories. I'm not going to lie, probably once a week I go over that because it's probably not high enough for me, but generally that is what I've been tracking at, and that consists of about 220 grams of protein, consists of anywhere from 100 to 115 grams of fat, and then the rest is carbs, which I think is about 450 grams. That for me right now is kind of maintaining my body weight from what I've been doing here, and for the past couple of months I've been mixing strength training with high rocks, even though I've lost a little bit of strength. But essentially that has been what I've been sticking at for pretty much the last 4 months now as a baseline. However, I do anticipate that that will go slightly higher as my training volume increases and as all of these endurance sessions increase as well. But that is essentially the plan. That's the brief introduction plan and test week from myself for Ironman training and how I'm going to be breaking down that week. Don't know if that's interesting, don't know if it's not, because I don't know how many of you are going to be doing this, but that's going to be my weekly split and my weekly structure. So hopefully it's interesting. And now on the next video, we're going to go through a full day of eating and a full day of training, because we know you love that, and you're going to see me hopefully do a double day training session. Give the video a like, smash that like button, haven't said that in a while. Give the video a thumbs up and comment below what you would like to see. And anyone who's also got any advice for me and wants to give me any tips and stuff like that, hit them in the comments, because I'm a newbie. Over and out. See you in the next video.